Right. So we'll do a quick little tour of Catskill Mountain Moonshine. The behind bar area here. Up top, we're going to have the braziers that I was speaking of.
1892 wants their word back.
Brazier.
Braziers.
Brazier. Do you have any questions?
Just
Yeah, so we're going back into the kitchen / distillery.
Alright.
As I explained before, I'll go a little slow.
Yeah.
These are the pots that I do the mash in. So all the corn, barley, wheat, everything goes in these pots. It gets strained out by hand and it gets pumped downstairs. After it sits down there for about 30 days, it gets pumped back upstairs into the still. The still here is 100% copper. Everything that I make here goes through the still first. All my whiskeys and all the Applejack goes through here once. After, I can explain how this works. So it's a liquid here, turns into a gas, comes back down into here. There's a thump tank. I usually put water in here for the whiskey. It just kind of cleans it. Turns back into a gas. Back through here, there's a coil in here with cold water coming in, and that turns back into a liquid again. I have a strainer right here, and I have charcoal, activated charcoal. It gets filtered. This is here. It tells me what the actual alcohol percentage is when it comes out, and it gets filtered again into a jug. That's for my whiskeys.
How long does that process take?
Once it starts up, it takes about 2 hours before I start collecting it, and then it collects for about 18 to 20 hours. Once I like I said, I do everything in here. When I do a whiskey, that's done. That's it. The only thing with the apple, I don't filter the apple because you want that apple flavor. Once it's done in here, this is a different kind of still. This is a column still. There's little plates in here. They're bubbling plates. So every time it goes up, it turns from the gas to a liquid. It drops back down into a liquid again, and it has these little plates that go all the way up. So this I could get 194 proof out of, 190 proof or 95. This is caps out at like 160 proof is what I can get. And there's a difference. Whiskey's got to be 160 proof or less to actually be called whiskey.
Is there any legalities on how high a proof can be?
No, and I found that out when I did that 174. Okay. I found one at 94 is the highest that I found in New York. But they sell it like more of a wholesale product. Yep. So other people can make stuff out of it. Yep. I also make gin in here as well. I put juniper berries and lavender in here. So once the apple comes out, I'll put the apple in here. Like it's kind of like the Applejack without being aged. Yep. And I get the juniper berries and the lavender in here. Comes out here again. That gets filtered a little bit. And then we collect it.
When you say filtered, meaning it doesn't go through the activated charcoal?
It does a little bit. The whiskey I do a lot. Just if you do too much, it takes too much of the juniper berries and the lavender out and the apple. If the gin is very floral, it's a big word.
Nice.
Just
well done, by the way.
Right here is just a small bottling room, if you want to call that. I have all the stuff that we make is here. We have grain vodka, apple vodka, maple. We have
I'm laughing at Karin because I just...
Did he touch you?
No, well, he wanted to, and I told him not to. It's my no-go zone.
And then this is where I filter the vodka. The vodka gets filtered quite a few times after that process. Get filtered again.
Very cool.
That's awesome. Let's go downstairs now, real quick. Yeah.
It's a little dirty and scary.
Dirty and dark. Oh, well,
So is Jay's personality.
Yeah. Watch your head, Jay.
Yep. Take a look at where all the magic happens downstairs.
So these are the barrel. Where are you?
Right.
So after we're done with the mash, everything comes. These are done in here. They're ready to go in the still. This is the fermentation room. It's usually about 80 degrees, and the stuff goes in here, and this is where it ferments. These hoses come down. It gets pumped up and down through the still. So it stays in here for about a month, and then I bring it out here.
How did you learn how to do all this?
That's a good question.
It was kind of trial and you read a lot, you watch a little YouTube stuff, but I think just trial and error. We made a lot of mistakes, and I just kind of yeast was a big one. We thought the water was important. Wasn't really the water. It was just a lot of it is the corn was important. I think trying to use the same ingredients is probably the most important, and you do the process. you could go a lot by taste and smell,
Mhm.
and a thermometer on where everything is, like how long you're going to do the corn,
Yeah.
what temperature the still is at when you start collecting it. There's heads, there's tails, there's a bunch of different
So a
stuff.
lot
in
of
it.
it's consistency.
It's
in
consistency.
recipes.
The biggest thing that makes it change is the honey
Yeah.
and the maple, because there's no control over that.
Yeah.
It depends on the trees and when the bees are pollinating on. That's like the biggest. It's not a complaint, but I guess it's like growing grapes in a wine different
Yeah,
year.
right.
You know, the more sunlight, the more water they have, the more irrigation or whatever it is.
But you occasionally do on the personal side. You do some red wine too, right? I know.
Yeah, we do a little bit.
Your
My father
old man
does it.
that
It's
too.
none of it's aged.
Yes.
Yeah.
You want to talk about your father? That
Yeah.
reminded me.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead back through here and then go upstairs. I want to talk about
Sure.
Louis' father.
Go ahead. I'm going to shut this. Watch your head, you.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is the tour. Catskill Mountain Moonshine. We're going to talk about Louis' dad. Louis' dad was also a member of New York State Police. Louis, what year did he retire?
I think it was 2006.
2006.
Pretty sure.
No, it's 2005.
Was it 5?
Yeah, I think it was 5.
2005.
I think it was 2005.
It could have been 2005,
I think we talked
2006.
about this last time. He did 28 years, correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
78. Yeah, 28. Yeah, 2000. I thought it was 6. Could be whatever it was, but yes. You want to just talk about it here?
Yeah, you can sit behind there. I'll come over here.
Sure.
So your father he retired as a major?
Yeah, he was a Troop C commander.
Okay. Troop C commander.
Mm-hmm.
Carm, you can explain the importance, if you will, Louis' father.
Yeah,
I've said this before. Your father was definitely not only kind of like I know it sounds corny, he was an inspiration, kind of like a mentor. You know, I remember seeing him when we were young. He'd walk in the door wearing the gray bag, and we were always very impressed. His dad's always been a very squared away guy, rising to the rank of major before he retired, and he kind of. When I saw that at some point, I was like, I knew I wanted to do the work of being a New York State Trooper, and I think we're both in the same mindset with
absolutely.
that.
Well, what did he do to specifically?
Yeah, so some of his assignments, right? He went from uniform, then he was in the bureau. But while he was in the bureau, that's kind of what I wanted to touch on. Was he did some really, really instrumental work with biker gangs?
Yeah, he was down in New York City, and kind of it was one of those things that nobody wanted to do, and the new guy got to do it.
Yes.
So they sent him to do it, and he kind of ran with it.
And lo and behold, back then, I think outlaw motorcycle gangs were a much different animal than they are now. And there were some really bad dudes
for sure.
in biker gangs back then. And your dad was undercover and essentially helped.
Yeah, he'd be good to have on and talk about it.
Yeah, we want to
Explain
have
it,
him on
for sure.
to talk about his
It's a very
experience.
long way of saying that we would like Louis' father on
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
talk about what
Yeah.
he did within the state.
And we talked about this before. He was great. He was my captain,
Mhm.
and he was great. I mean, he was there on 9/11 that day. He was our boss and got us in the room. And there's a couple sergeants that are no longer with us, and other people that basically said, "Don't make me proud." And he would go. He would have went. And that's a story I get from a lot of people that work for him, that he was willing to do whatever you were doing.
I remember later in his career, he's still stopping to assist disabled vehicles on the
for sure.
freeway.
Oh, that's what we got into last
As a
time.
captain,
is
Yeah.
the fact that he was just a go-getter and he's just that guy.
Yeah.
I met him, but I'd never met him while I was on the job.
So at some point, we want to do an episode with him.
Absolutely.
Maybe
tell
here.
that one story where you blasted the pedestrian.
Well, it's not a blast at the that. Like I said, that was his first day as the zone commander, and before it was a Wednesday night into Thursday morning, you report to wherever your new assignment, and it was Thursday morning, and he got a phone call that zone sergeant called him and said that there was a a troop car pedestrian accident with physical injury.
With injuries.
So
And mind you, his father's first day as the zone commander, the new captain, he gets word that his.
And he, on the phone, he said, "Well, who's the troop? Is the subject all right that got struck?" And it's not life threatening. And then the second was, "Who's the trooper?" And it was this guy. So that made his day.
Well, there was a pause.
Yeah, a
And
little
the
bit of
zone
a
sergeant's
pause.
response, he's like, "Well, sir,
Yeah, there was. Yeah.
it's your son."
Well, I figured, might as well bring him in right. Well, not an easy day.
Not to laugh about the incident.
No. I mean, luckily the gentleman
Yeah.
ended up being okay, and
thank God he was okay.
Yeah.
But just something to add to.
that was
Your
it wasn't a
father's
fun time, but I could smirk about it now.
Yes. Well, to that end, we want to have him on at some point, and we'd be honored to interview him and talk to him about his some of his experiences doing that. So, I think we're pretty much concluded. What would
Yeah.
you say there?
No, I like where we're at. I
Yeah.
like where we're at on time, and
Yeah.
sound is much better. And there may be some echoey, but it's the nature of the beast in
'Cause
this
we're
type
in
of
a-
environment.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to deal with it. But yeah,
Yeah.
so Catskill Mountain Moonshine, Louis Barberia. Please come check them
Yeah,
out.
thanks for having me,
And,
both of you, really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're very happy
Thanks
to
for
have you.
promoting
We're at
business.
some point. I think the next episode we're going to discuss Jason's beard.
A beard or my gruff, my goatee.
It's a beard.
Carm, guess what?
You look like
Carm.
the captain of the Hunt for Red October.
Guess what?
with that
Nobody
thing in your
fucking
face.
cares. See, I got it right this
No one
time.
fucking cares. All right, guys. See ya.
All right,
Ciao.
out.